Hey guys, happy Labor Day weekend. Welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs, here to talk to you about Mizzou's 61-6 win over Central Arkansas. Before we start, as always, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video if you're so inclined, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Spotify. I think you have to start with kind of the why a lot of people were in it more of a down mood than you would expect. It was weird. They announced that Ben Arnett, KOMU reporter, Columbia NBC affiliate, he passed away. They announced that basically as soon as the game ended. Um, Drinkwitz in the press conference after was definitely subdued. He alluded to having just found out about it. Um, I guess the media there found out pretty much right after. And that everything was more subdued because of that. 43 years old, wife and a daughter, as I understand it. If you watch Mizzou stuff on YouTube, he used to be an employee of the university, the athletic department. You know his voice, you know his face. Just stunning and super sad. Prayers out to his family and to his friends. As far as on the field stuff, well, the big takeaway, also a huge bummer. Sam Horn, scheduled, so he thought, to play the second half, came in the first quarter for one play. And it was a zone read play. He made what looked to be the correct read and kept it, ran pretty much right up the middle, got 6 yards. Got tackled pretty hard, right around the knee, maybe a little bit below, and needed help off the field. Was seen at halftime, full leg brace and crutches in street clothes, which we don't know, but suggests he's out for a while, maybe just done, which is just surreal, terrible luck. And it is luck. I know a lot of people are thinking, why do you run the quarterback the first play? Well, guess what? You have two quarterbacks who have some mobility. The play is part of the offense. You're not going to ever have a quarterback where he comes in, he's passing, because that's just telling the defense what to do. That's not smart football. So you have that aspect of it. You say, well, why didn't he just hand off? Well, it was a zone read. That's Missouri's offense. He's running the offense. It's the first quarter of the game. I was happy to see he was getting reps that early. It's dumb luck and nothing more that he got hurt. Eh, I won't hear an argument otherwise that it was bad play calling or bad decision making. It's luck. Also, in the third quarter, Mizzou's kicker Blake Craig went in, kind of was part of a tackle on a kick return, and needed help getting up. Looked to have a leg injury of some kind. We don't know. The upshot here, both are getting MRIs Monday, or today, I guess Friday rather. Today, filming. Used to used to all this stuff being on Saturdays, not Thursdays. Anyway, both getting MRIs today, Friday. And when are we going to know the results of that? I don't know. As weird as it sounds, Blake Craig is a bigger loss. I know that sounds weird that a quarterback in a quarterback competition is not as significant of an injury as your kicker. But Blake Craig was money on his first two kicks, 49 and 55 yards, I believe. Coming off the Music City Bowl where he was clutch, it was encouraging. You're thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe Missouri really does have their kicker. And now they find themselves in the exact same situation they were in at this time a year ago with a kid named Robert Meyer, uh, presumably going to be your kicker for a while, maybe the whole season. True freshman, highly rated on the Coles kicking service, whatever it is, but a true freshman who kicked his first collegiate kick last night. So, yeah, what Blake Craig was a true freshman last year, and it worked out pretty well. Meyer may be the same. He may be all over the place from outside 35 yards. I don't know. It's an uncertainty that Drinkwitz wasn't counting on having, and it may impact decision making going forward, especially with the KU game being next week. So, yeah, a tough one. It's also more significant because Bo Pribula, if there was any doubt, he's your guy. Now we're transitioning to basically almost all happy things the rest of this video. Bo Pribula was great. Yes, it's Central Arkansas, so he should look great. But he did. All he can do is line up against the other team. And he did nothing to make you nervous, make you feel uncertain, anything like that. 23 out of 28, two touchdown passes, one that home run ball to Speedy Johnson that was glorious. He a underthrew another home run ball to Speedy Johnson, kept it from being a touchdown. Ball was at the one, and then a play or two later, he ended up keeping that for a rushing touchdown. He had two of those. 348 yards of total offense. Guys, Prebula was the guy in my mind as soon as they announced he was getting the entire first half. But the circumstances here make it obvious. Prebula is your guy, and Zollers is your backup. So, at least not the circumstances you wanted to decide it, but at least it is decided. Looking at the offense, Ahmad Hardy. You expected him to be the workhorse. I still think he will be throughout the season. But if you can keep your RB1 from getting beat up in game one, you may as well do it. He had 10 carries, 100 yards, and even 10 per carry. Had himself a touchdown, and what has to be the greatest touchdown celebration in the history of Mizzou football, with the horse riding, whatever you want to call it, getting half the offense involved. That was superb. Um, Wide receivers look great. Josh Manning had 3 catches in a row on a 2-minute drive, two 99-yard drives for a touchdown. Exquisite. Brett Norfleet had a touchdown. Jordan Harris had a catch. Tight ends, maybe they're going to be a part of the offense for real. First time in a while, that would be. Um, the offense did have that one stretch in the second quarter where the offensive line looked like a train wreck. I can think of one play where a DN kind of stunted across and came through right up the middle. That's the sort of thing that I feel like is going to get cleaned up, at least to some extent, with communication, with experience playing next to each other. An offensive line is a unit. You can have 5 All-Americans, and they may not be as good as a group of 5 solid guys, not quite as talented, but who have played together for a year and a half, 2 years. You have that. You have cohesion. You know what the other guys are going to do. You know how quick they are. You know when you need to chip, when you don't. All of that. Some of it will come in time for sure, because this has been a unit as it is now for 2 weeks. So it's bound to improve in that regard. How much will it? Well, it needs to improve significantly from that stretch. And to be fair, it looked better in the second half. Yes, it put the game out of reach, but honestly, aside from that one little stretch, the offensive line was fine. You just hope that reps builds quality and builds improvement. As far as the defense, um, there was in the beginning it didn't feel like it was just overwhelming the the Central Arkansas offense, but let's look at the stats. They had 73 yards passing. Missouri only had 2 sacks, both from Damon Wilson, I believe. And the reason for that is how often was the Central Arkansas quarterback sitting there looking for a deep ball? I think it 2 times, and it was when Damon Wilson put him on his back. They were doing very quick drops and very quick routes because they expected that, yeah, Missouri would create pressure. They also ran very vanilla defense. I cannot think of any time that they blitzed any linebackers or anything. Now you want your front four to get pressure on their own, but they weren't even getting too creative with their approach to things. So you have that. 227 total yards for Central Arkansas. And how much of that was that final drive of the game? So, yeah, you'd like to see the defense maybe overwhelm them a little bit more, but look at the box score and look at how much they rotated guys in. They had so many dudes rotating in and out. That is encouraging to do that and keep the shutout with your second and third string guys not even really on the depth chart, getting reps. And it took until the last 30 seconds or whatever it was for Central Arkansas to get in the end zone. That's phenomenal. That really is encouraging. I think all in all, you can't ask for anything more out of this team aside from that one stretch out of the offensive line. Think about it. Missouri in the past couple of years in these FCS games, we kind of grind out wins that eventually looked kind of dominant, but not kind of that just flat out overwhelming whatever. Was it 35 to 10 against South Dakota in the FCS game a year ago? It's off the top of my head, I might be wrong. Against Louisiana Tech, I believe it was, they gave up 24 points. I think it was 52-24. I think 34 to 17 against Abilene Christian the year before that. Not exactly overwhelming scores. And for all Missouri's struggles offensively in the first half, for all the drama, it was 26 nothing at halftime. That's better than your margin for the whole game in the FCS game a year ago. It's the biggest margin of victory since the Delaware State game sometime in the Barry Odom era. First time an SEC team has had two 99-yard drives for a touchdown in at least 20 years. There's a lot of stats for how dominant this was. And in the end, the spread where there was one was 36 and a half, and Missouri won by what, 55, 56 points? 55 points? Public math. Well, 55-point win. Come on, guys. If the offensive line can figure a couple things out, you have to be encouraged. And yes, I guess the response to that is how often do we hear you only learn bad things in a game like this? And that's true. In the vaguest of senses, it means something. Not a lot, but something that they won by this margin and it was this dominant, considering they hadn't done that the past few years. Because it's not like South Dakota, Louisiana Tech were powers at the FCS level. They were teams just like Central Arkansas, but it was different. Even when the offensive line was struggling in that second quarter, was there any shred of, are we going to lose this game? No Missouri fan thought that. So, hey, that's really the biggest takeaway. Everything but O-line looked great pretty much the entire way. Um, guys, that's it. Now, kick back, watch Labor Day weekend football. Great matchups all over. And now it's time for the border war. We're going to have our preview early next week. We're going to have lots of analysis on that one. And hey, get ready. It's coming. Till next time, thank you for watching.